So that brings me to my first term, redneck. This is reserved for people who wear flannel shirts with homemade sleeveless, okay? The only thing they order is at Chili's and it's ribs, and they tip less than 10%. That is a redneck, okay? That's the most insulting of all the southern people from the South names. Redneck is very insulting. We don't like that, okay? Get her done. We don't say that, okay? So do not, okay? Second term people say is they'll say hillbilly. Hillbilly is reserved for people who are wearing jeans that are cut off above the knee, and also they're barefoot, okay? Also, the third requirement is their teeth are jacked up. I'm not saying I have the perfect teeth, but not enough to be considered a hillbilly. Hillbilly and meth addict, similar teeth, okay? So if you're ever curious, like, oh, that person has a decent set of teeth, I'd say it's like 70% complete, not a hillbilly, okay? And if they're wearing shoes, just throw that out, okay? Hillbilly is not something they want to be called. It's better than redneck, because redneck's more like redneck. Hillbilly's like, you hillbilly, like from Wedding Crashers when they use that joke. So it's not as degrading, but still not big fans of it. Hillbillies means like you live in the hills, like you're a hill people, like from Justified, like that whole family of whatever they're called, they're hillbillies. We don't like hillbillies. The most, you could say the top two that I would call somebody is, or say to somebody that is not offensive, is to say, oh, you got a country accent. That's fine. Country's decent music. I don't listen to it, but I appreciate people that do listen to it because it gives a whole new market, and that's fine. Taylor Swift used to be in country music, so I'm cool with that too. So country, you say, oh, you have a country accent, or you from the country? That's cool. That makes you think of pretty fields and like the land that Tim Riggins bought at the end of Friday Night Lights, so I'm cool with that. The other one, this is probably your safest bet. Is, oh, you've got a southern accent. Southern is cool, okay? We're okay with Southern. We realize geographically that's a true statement. We're in the southern part of the United States. We don't affiliate that with, we're from the South, okay? We don't like that. We're not for the Civil War crap that went down. We're not a big fan. I mean, we're not for the southern side of the Civil War, the northern part. That's cool. But we're not fans of the Southern's involvement in the Civil War. But we're okay now, seeing as how it's about 150 years later, with saying from the South or Southern. The South almost gives that Union versus Confederates type mentality. So we prefer just say Southern. Oh, you got a Southern accent, or you're a very Southern looking gentleman, because Southern feels like gentleman. It does feel like gentlemen should follow it, or lady or gentleman. Southern is respectful. Call them Southern. Definitely not redneck. Hillbilly's a little better, but refrain, and don't say redneck.
The Pookies and the Ray Rays, yeah, they're the ones driving around the cars in the black community. Sometimes they're doing the shooting, and they live in these housing projects, right? They live in these hoods. But guess what happens? Somebody comes and buys those houses and gets them out. Want to know who does it? Nerds, businessmen, smart guys, college grads, okay? They're the ones that come and they actually own stuff, and they tell these Pookies and Ray Rays where they can and can't be at. And if you don't like it, we'll sell it and get you the hell up out of here. Now, I want to talk to all the brothers out there who seem to, feel that Pookies and Ray Rays are winning in the black community. Well, clearly, as we see right now, they're not winning. Want to know who's winning? Educated people are winning. Educated people run the world. Let's not get it twisted. Skilled people run the world. Talented people create jobs. Talented people give jobs. Talented people find money for jobs to be created. They invest in foreign countries, okay? They create better products and services that we enjoy every day. And that comes from smart people. It don't come from people who know how to bust guns, people who sell drugs all day, people who twerk on corners. Those people don't run anything but their mouth. And all the
Black people like nerd culture. We in the games, we out there. I mean, I feel like the surface level, everyone's like, oh yeah, black people like Madden and 2K. But I think it goes deeper than that. You know, we like tabletop RPGs. We like Dungeons and Dragons.
What are you saying?
I get.
Yeah. See,
yeah, I was very good at a Star Wars RPG that I played briefly a few years ago.
Okay, first of all, yes, it is so nerdy, but I also think the imagination is so important, and so like.
You'll end up working for one. A popular quote by Bill Gates as he articulates the prestige that can come with the term nerd. However, it also has some very negative stereotypes that go along with it as well. For example, sometimes people think of it as antisocial, lacking athletic ability, or even being a recluse, like living in your mother's basement until you're 40. I would like to talk a little bit about those two beliefs, see if we can come to a marriage between them as we contrast them as we go. On my talk today, I would like to define nerd, give a working definition of what it is for a nerd for my talk today. I would also like to address some of those negative stereotypes and potentially why they are that way. I would like to talk about what draws people to the culture that is the nerd culture, and then finally I would like to share some of my personal things that I enjoy about nerd culture. When you look up dictionary.com's definition, you see lots of negative words. I see socially awkward, boring, unstylish, single-minded, obsessed, non-social, almost entirely negative words defining nerd. The only positive one is intelligent. It actually gets worse if you just type it into Google. A foolish or a contemptible person lacking social skills or boringly studious. We're contemptible. I consider myself to be a nerd. I've never considered myself contemptible. I would like to give a working definition for the remainder of my talk, wherein I'm going to say a person is a nerd if they have an interest in any number, and probably multiple, of these topics. East Asian media like anime, role-playing, trading card games, comics, fantasy, sci-fi, math, science, technology, or engineering. I would kind of like to make a differentiation between the two types of nerds that we're looking at here, and I think it's why the term nerd has different terms.
Better city, something better for the youth. Make sure the kids nerd up. Make sure you go to school if you want to go to school. You don't have to be a gang member. You don't have to get a felony. You could do something good with your life. You could get up and get on the hustle. And for all of us who are XGs, and we, even though we're still in our life, these parks represent growing together, getting better together.